I'll give you. And you gotta have it. What's your name, sir? The 25, my secretary will be back to that table out there shortly. Didn't go and take her. Thank you.
So for the signs, you just choose one.
The signs, yeah, he reaches out to you, if you know. Then the sign will tell me about you. Oh, my darling, how are you? Beautiful to see you. Yeah, where's your son? Oh, your husband. Where's he at?
There he is.
Oh, okay. Now, how are you? How are you?
Fine.
Oh, forgive my seat. I got this old leg that bothers me a little bit.
Well, I know that.
And I've had a long trip, and of course they naturally tried to hold me up in Philly for 14 hours, like on the freeway. You know how that goes, and everything. It's good to see you all. Thank you for coming out. It's wonderful to see you. I'm very honored that you've taken your time to come out and thank you. If it is possible for an unworthy mortal to wish you well, I shall try and watch over you from this day forward as best I can. Okay. I am very honored. Is this the business? Good to meet you. That you would drive all this way to hear me, a simple little farm boy. It does my heart well. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, did you? On coast to coast? Did you? Yeah, that was really, I think, a good broadcast because we got a chance to really talk. You know, to really talk. When I do Howard Stern, he's acting all crazy, and I don't get a chance to do much talking. But still, it's that Britishment, you know, people are smarter than people give them credit for.
Trying to get tape from the folk concerts out in Arlington.
Oh, from Auckland?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We went last year. We didn't go this year.
Oh, well, then, now, on my website, thecomingoftan.com, there is a link, I believe, to the law firm people, or at least a contact phone number where you can call, and we'll make sure you get it, dear.
Because we want to hear about it.
Yeah.
How you doing, everybody? Thank you for coming today. It is my pleasure today to be here and to present to you this man who has written a work of art, in my opinion, that really has touched a lot of different people. We had the pleasure of meeting Riley back around 1995, and it was we heard him on the Stern Show, and we figured, let's see what this man has to say. So we went down to New Hope, Pennsylvania, and we were blown away. He's probably one of the most interesting individuals just to sit in a room with and talk with, hear what he has to say, field some questions. He really does present to you all sides of the equation, even if you're not so much into certain subject matters that he covers. He really hits on the quality of human life, spirituality, and everything else, and we're just happy to be here. We're also doing some work with Riley. We were fortunate enough to get together with him, and we will be presenting with our upcoming record label called Skylink Records a version of The Coming of Tan in audio form. And what's so special about this version is Riley's actually narrating it himself. Not many authors will read through their books. Riley took the time to come up to Boston and go through that with us, and we scored it with an audio version that we think gives some kind of a mood to what he's saying and presents a more listenable experience, if you will. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to present to you Riley L. Martin.
Good afternoon. It's wonderful to see you here. I want to dearly thank my loving brothers and sisters who have worked diligently with me to put this meeting together. Quite marvelous. I speak of Everett. I speak of Anna. I speak of Jim and many others who have come to see me. I want to let you know that it is my honor, not your honor, but my honor, that you have taken your valuable time and resources to come out here today to listen to my simple words. I deeply appreciate your care and your love and your interest in this universal equation. My name is Riley Lee Martin. I was born on the 9th of May, 1946, in the southern delta of the state of Mississippi. That year, the waters rose, torrential rains came, the rivers flooded, the levees broke, and my family moved across the river in northeastern Arkansas. It was there in 1953, at the age of 7, that I was awakened in the wee hours of the morning to see lights above the river. These lights, there were 4, 3 smaller, 1 larger. They would do aerobatics in the sky. Now, I had 2 brothers that slept in this big room with me. Strangely, I could not awaken them, though I shook them mightily to try to awaken them. But the lights came. They would do acrobatics. The 4th light would descend down towards the river, casting its glow into my room. You see, we used oil lamps in those days, and it was dark in there, and I could see all over the room and things of this nature. And I felt a soulful vibration and a longing to go to that light. On the 3rd night, I heard a voice say, "Friend Martin, come out." Shook them again, they wouldn't go. They wouldn't wake up. So I went outside and I got my trusted dog. His name was Brown Boy. This was a noble dog. He hunted anything, wild hogs, raccoons, small game, you name it, he hunted it and was not afraid of anything. He and I went down to the river to investigate this light because it had landed in a clearing by the riverside. As we came up through a canebrake, I saw the ship. It was standing about 4 meters above the ground, and it was moored by 3 flexible legs. It didn't have standing gear, and it danced about like a cork on water. It must have been about 30 or 33 feet across the rim, and it looked like polished silver, and it was given a humming sound. I could feel the leaves moving around me, the static electricity in my hair and my clothing. Presently, though it looked metallurgic, the dome of the ship cleared up, as clear as glass, and I saw 2 people, or beings, standing there looking down at me. It then occurred to me, dear listener, that I needed to get out of there, But at the moment I had the thought, I was hit and transfixed with the blue-white light, and I could not move. Now, my noble, trusted dog, Brown Boy, could move. And when I turned my head, I saw his ears flapping as he went back across the hill. He left me. And I won't tell you what I called him, but he left me, okay? Anyway, there was a bright light that emanated from the bottom of the ship. And I saw 2 beings standing there, and they walked briskly toward me, one a little shorter than the other. They were wearing bubble helmets. They came and got me, one by each arm. And they said, "Friend Martin, come and go with us." I said, "Well, you're going to have to ask my mom. I just can't be going off with you." And they said, "Don't worry, we will soon bring you home again." And as we were walking back to the ship, they said, "Friend Martin, don't you remember us? Don't you remember us?" I said, "No, who are you?" They said, "Don't you remember us, Friend Martin, from there, near the Tigris and Euphrates in the Nile River Valley, when your ancestors did raise the Pyram towards the heavens? Don't you remember us?" I said, "It's coming back to me." We went aboard the ship. When we were whisked up into a circular chamber, around this chamber were thousands of little lights, and you could feel them dancing over your body, just like water or something of this nature. And then they said, wait. And then there's a mist. And this mist, at first, it tends to irritate the nose a bit. But then you kind of get the grooving, you know. You're not afraid really anymore. But I understand that this is a kind of decontamination process that they use. Then I looked down, and I was completely nude. Somehow they had used some type of a biomolecular dispersal type thing to take the clothing away, perhaps to prevent contamination and what have you, though they later did dress me in a kind of silken or sheer type garment and what have you. As we moved away from the earth, I began to cry. And he said, don't cry. And then he told me to sing him a song, and I did sing a song that my mother had wrote for me. And then he said, look back. And I looked back, and I saw the North American continent, and down South America way, I saw the light moving across from the Florida Peninsula, across the land, light chasing away the darkness. And then momentarily I heard something say, whoa. I said, what was that? He said, fear not, friend Martin, that was your Luna. We were passing the moon. And then he said, look before you. And I looked, and he said, look before you, and I saw this meteorite or something with a fiery tail moving through space. We immediately caught up with the thing, and we start circumnavigating it. And then their instruments began to play my mother's song. Horns, you name it, tweeters, whippers. And so it was fascinating. And then he said, look to your practice, friend Martin. We now breached the quantum window. And I said, you're going to breach? Pew! So okay, you are looking, I'm looking at him. And he looks like a gummy bear. You know, he's translucent. I look at my hands and I see my skeletal structure like polished silver, and the veins are blue, the nerve endings and things like this. And then very shortly, we were spinning out, and as I spun out, and my equilibrium came back, I looked off to my left and I saw a great planet and its rings, great ice chunks circumnavigating this great planet. It was Saturn. Then he said, friend Martin, what do you hear? I say, I hear 1,000 voices. He said, angels? He said, no, friend Martin, it is the rings. They sing to you. Now, I understand that there is a certain vibration of electromagnetic vibration that is needed to keep these rings in sync around the planet. This is what I was hearing, though to me it sounded like 1,000 voices of the angels. And then he said, look before you. And there, between that planet and one of its great moons, off in the distance, was a brilliant, shining light against the azure blackness of the sky. First I thought it was a star, but it pulsed so brightly, and we were moving toward it at a very fast clip. And I said, what is that? And he said, friend Martin, that is the mothership. We are now up on an approach pattern. You see? And so we were coming up to it, and we were coming too fast. You know, you got to have brakes. You know what I mean? So I say, hey, slow down, man, you're going to hit it. You know, say, hey, slow down, you're going to hit it. And he said, oh, friend Martin, what is that emotion you feel? It is, you know, it's a marvelous emotion. What is it? I said, that's what you call scared bumpless. You know, that wasn't a word I used, but, and you see, they like emotions. Some of them are sensitive, and they can feel your emotions, and they get off on that.